9 of the greatest historical mysteries that may never be solved. There are some historical mysteries that may never be solved because there is no solid evidence. Because relevant excavated material has been lost or archaeological sites have been destroyed. It could also be because new evidence is unlikely to emerge or extant evidence is too vague to lead experts to a consensus. The lack of answers to history only makes this riddle more interesting to delve into. Quoting from Live Science, there are 9 historical questions that do not have a definite historical explanation. 1. Who is Jack the Ripper? 3 mysterious facts about the legendary Jack the Ripper. England has a story about the most popular serial killer in history, namely Jack the Ripper. In 1888, Jack the Ripper killed at least 5 women in London and then mutilated their bodies. The name Jack the Ripper comes from the letters that were sent. Needless to say, the Ripper was never found, and over the years many people have been named as possible candidates. A recent book stated that a woman named Lizzie Williams was the Ripper, although other Ripper experts doubt this. It seems unlikely that the Ripper's true identity will ever be known with certainty. 2. Where's Jimmy Hoffa? A Union leader known for his involvement in organized crime disappeared in Oakland County, Michigan, on July 30, 1975. He is currently presumed dead, but the identity of the killer and the location of his body remains a mystery. Police and forensic anthropologists have searched a number of sites in Detroit and Oakland County but have found no results. One popular theory is that Hoffa's body was buried under Giant Stadium in New Jersey, but this theory has been debunked. Prior to his death in 2006, Richard the Iceman Kuklinski, a hitman, confessed to killing Hoffa and dumping her body in a landfill. A writer named Philip Carlo visited Kuklinski in prison before he died and wrote a book about Kuklinski's confession. After the book came out, a number of police officers cast doubt on the confession in media interviews. As time went on, it seemed more and more unlikely that Hoffa's body could be found. 3. Where is Cleopatra's grave? Ancient writers claim that Cleopatra VII and her lover, Mark Antony, were buried together in a tomb after their deaths in 30 BC. The writer Plutarch 45:1-0 wrote that the tomb was located near the temple of Isis, an Egyptian goddess, and was a tall and beautiful monument containing treasures made of gold, silver, emeralds. In 2010, Zahi Hawass, Egypt's former Minister of Antiquities, carried out excavations at a site near Alexandria now called Tipaziris Magna, which contains a number of tombs dating to the era when Cleopatra VII ruled Egypt. While many interesting archaeological discoveries were made, Cleopatra's tomb was not among those that Hawass reported in a series of news releases. 4. Who killed John F. Kennedy? This is perhaps the greatest mystery in American history that will never be solved. On November 22, 1963, President John F. Kennedy was shot in Dallas by Lee Harvey Oswald, although some speculate that he was not the only one shooting. On November 24, 1963, before Oswald was put on trial, Oswald was fatally shot by nightclub owner Jack Ruby. The most widely accepted explanation is that Oswald killed himself and Ruby killed Oswald of his own free will. Ruby's known motivation for shooting Oswald was to spare Jacqueline Kennedy from the distraction of Oswald returning to court. Yet there are still a large number of professional historians, along with many amateurs, who disagree with this explanation. Since his death, many alternative explanations have been put forward by historians and amateurs alike. Given that significant new evidence is unlikely to emerge, a definite consensus may never be AC. 5. Is there a money hole on Oak Island? For more than 2 centuries, stories have circulated that Oak Island, located off Nova Scotia, Canada, has a hidden treasure pit supposedly left by the pirate Captain William Kidd 16451701. During that time, many expeditions costing millions of dollars have traveled to the island in search of the lost treasure, but to no avail. Despite centuries of searching, no treasure has been found on Oak Island. That hasn't stopped people from trying to find it. 6. Is the treasure of the Copper Scroll real? Another treasure story that may never be solved is that in 1952, a copper scroll was discovered by archaeologists in a cave, along with other Dead Sea Scrolls, at the Qumran site. As the name suggests, the inscription is engraved on a copper scroll. The scroll recorded a large amount of hidden gold and silver treasures, but some experts believed that it couldn't possibly exist. The scrolls date back more than 1,900 years to the time when the Roman Empire ruled the Qumran region. There were a number of rebellions against Roman rule at the time the scroll was written, and scientists hypothesized that the treasure was hidden to prevent its capture by Roman troops. Whether the treasure was real, where exactly it was hidden, whether it was ever found, and whether it still exists today are all mysteries that will likely never be solved. 7. What happened to the Ark of the Covenant? In 587 BC, the Babylonian army, under King Nebuchadnezzar, managed to conquer Jerusalem, then plundered the city and destroyed the first temple, a building used by the Jews to worship a god. The first temple contains the Ark of the Covenant, which contains a stone that records the 10 Commandments. The fate of the Ark is now unclear. Ancient sources indicate that it was brought back to Babylon or hidden before the city was captured. It is also possible that the Ark of the Covenant was destroyed during the looting of the city, and its current location is unclear. One story suggests the Ark eventually made its way to Ethiopia, where it is kept today. Another story says the Ark was divinely hidden and would not appear until a Messiah arrived. 8. Was the Hanging Gardens of Babylon real? Around 250 BC, Philo of Byzantium wrote that the Hanging Gardens had plants cultivated at a height above ground level, and tree roots embedded in the upper terraces rather than in the ground. So far, archaeologists who have excavated Babylon have been unable to find garden remains that match this description. This makes archaeologists ask about the truth about the existence of the Hanging Garden. 9. Was there a city of Atlantis? The Greek philosopher Plato told a story about a land called Atlantis that was in the Atlantic Ocean, and is said to have conquered most of Europe and Africa in prehistoric times. In the story, the prehistoric Athenians counterattacked Atlantis in a conflict that ended in the loss of Atlantis under the waves. Although no expert believes this story to be true, some have speculated that the legend may have been inspired by real events that occurred in Greek history. One possibility is that the Minoan civilization, which flourished on the island of Crete until about 1400 BC, could have inspired the story of Atlantis. Although Crete is in the Mediterranean, and not in the Atlantic, Minoan settlements were badly damaged by the eruption of Thera, a volcano in Greece. In addition, archaeologists discovered that the Minoans were eventually defeated or forced to join a group of people called the Mycenaeans, who lived on the Greek mainland. That's 9 historical mysteries that may not be solved. This is only part of the mysteries of world history. There are still many mysteries of the world's mysteries that have not been revealed.